to kind of get it down for us before you get.
It's all
because it was good. It was a really good one.
Yeah. Like I don't know how to do this shit. This is all trial and error stuff.
Well,
so do we want to? Is it going? I don't know if we kick it off.
Yeah, we're just
okay.
We're just shooting the shit.
Well, I'll get this thing. I'll get it kicked off. But all right. So, welcome to the 10th episode of the Phil Henry Show here in Bangor, Maine, where we talk about entrepreneurship, wealth, health, love, happiness, marriage. Stuff that guys deal with, stuff that women deal with. So on the show today, we have a special guest, Monty Rand, who owns, what do you call your business? Rand Photography or Monty Rand Photography? Okay, yeah. So, and we were talking about 5 minutes ago about the fact that you have been in the photography business for probably 20 years because you've got
28 actually.
28 years.
Right out of high school, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I was about a year out of high school. I got a gig up at UMaine in the sports information department doing some photo stuff. And
so that was going to be my first question was, if you don't mind, give me a little bit of a background. Okay, so Monty's is Monty from Bangor.
I was actually born in Philadelphia.
Okay.
But moved here when I was young.
Okay.
So it's a lot of people think I was born here and raised here and all that, but I was actually born in Philly. So which is interesting. Had some family that lives in New Jersey.
Okay.
Cape May, and so.
And then you landed in Bangor, Maine at one point.
My
age?
My dad and my mom. I was probably 2, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty early on. My parents, I guess, I don't know, things really weren't good in Philly, and they wanted to move back home, be closer to my father's family. So came back up here and been here ever since.
Went to Bangor High.
Old Town High.
Old Town High.
Yeah,
okay.
Back when they were the Indians, by the
Okay.
way. Indians, not the Coyotes.
Okay. All right. So then there was a little different back in those days.
It was a little different. Yeah.
Because I'm thinking if I'm doing the math correctly, you probably are like an 87 grad or something. 88 grad.
Yep.
Okay. 88 grad of Orono High School.
Old Town High
School. Is there a difference? Is there one in both high schools?
Here's the thing. I played hockey in high school, and Orono was one of our biggest rivals. But now Old Town and Orono are together.
Okay.
At least hockey-wise.
Okay.
And they just won I think a state championship in hockey.
I saw that. That was cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Div is, I don't even understand. And listen, I'm Canadian. I Div 1, Div 2, Div 3.
I think the Old Town Orono Black Bears, I think, is what they're called now, because they used to be the Riots and the Indians, and then the Coyotes, and so anyways, it's kind of interesting.
So then photography, let's get, so you graduate and you say, what's Monty going to do in this world? And then all of a sudden did you go to college? Did you just go to?
I didn't. It's actually.
You went to photography, the School of Photography Hard Knocks, or what?
It's kind of a funny story, actually.
Right.
So in high school, I was like a junior. I kind of started dealing with photography, kind of taking photos and stuff of all the deer that are up at the university there.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun. I would go out first thing in the morning, try to, sneak up on them and stuff. I actually got to the point that I knew certain days of the week, certain times where they would be.
Okay.
So, I spent a lot of time out there, just playing around.
Yep.
The funny part came in is when I would go, the University of Maine used to have this thing called Skate with the Bears. So you'd go and you could skate with the players. So I would take photos. Well, I would bring these photos to school and the girls would see them. So the girls would start buying these photos of these guys, right? So back then for me, that's great because, you had to buy the film, you had to have it developed. It was expensive. So I started realizing the guys.
Probably not politically correct, but in university we used to call them the puck bunnies.
Yeah.
So the puck bunnies was a market for you to buy up these
high school girls,
Yeah.
So they're buying these photos left and right, and so then I started getting a little bit more savvy, or I would get the more popular players together in a picture, and I'd sell them for a little more money.
Yeah.
But what it was doing was paying for my film and developing, basically.
Right.
I wasn't making any money.
Right.
It just wasn't costing me any money.
Gotcha.
So, from that, I would go to a lot of the hockey games and stuff like that, and started taking photos. And obviously, hockey was my favorite sport.
Right.
And hockey was pretty good. And so, I just. So
that's where it started.
Yeah, it's basically where it started. And guy named Matt Burke that was up at UMaine in the sports information department was nice enough to kind of give me a gig, and kind of doing stuff up there. And then it kind of just snowballed into doing stuff at public relations. And then basically shortly after high school, a couple of years out of high school, I was like their sports photographer.
Wow.
So I was kind of...
So it just basically like it was your passion, you were doing it, and all of a sudden like you got your first paying gig, right? Which is like someone's going to pay me money to take pictures. This is cool.
And I can tell you, I probably really didn't make any money in the sense that it went all right back into gear.
Of
and
course.
It's
not cheap to get all that stuff.
But I've got some lenses I still use that I bought way back in the day.
That's cool.
Yeah, So I definitely got my money's worth out of it.
Yeah. 28 years later.
Yeah, they still work.
Lenses.
It's like, hey,
So then what? So you started doing photography. You ended up. Did you get? And I don't know like the history. So you started doing photography. Did you meet someone? Did you get married? Did you not? Like how did that go? Like give me some of that.
My first wife
background.
I met up at the University of Maine. She was a video producer up there.
Okay.
So we met. It was actually what happened.
So late night developing turned into a little smoochy.
Yeah,
I get
it. Something like that. But it was the interesting thing was it's really this again another interesting story is she was doing a thing. They had I think a show called UMaine Snapshots. I think if I have it correct, and she was like a video producer, so she would get like famous alum and stuff like that would come back to campus and would do interviews with them, and talk about their experience at Maine and all this. And so I remember it was she was doing it was either Billy Swift or Mike Bordick, one of the two baseball guys she was doing a thing with. And I found out he was on campus, and I was like, so I'm like flying around trying to like, basically, jump in on
you're helping her out. You're gonna
I wasn't really helping her out,
but
I was
finding
like
a way into
I was because I wanted to get pictures of these guys, and so it really didn't start off very good because she's like, who's this guy, like what, anyways, so that's kind of how like we met. And then when I started doing some work in public relations, she was there. She was 10 years older than me.
Oh, wow.
And I remember
that's a gap.
I remember she had an intern there that I was actually kind of chasing after, and then we ended up dating.
That's funny.
It was kind of weird.
So 10 years you're senior, you meet her, you guys just something clicked. You just like first of all you're in the same kind of space, which makes sense. And then so you start dating, and then what happened? Like then you asked her to marry you. Yeah, you got married, and how old were you when you got married for the first time?
I was I was like 28, I think.
Okay, so 28. So it's not like you're not like a spring chicken. You're 28's a good, probably a good age to
good age. Yeah, sounded good
to give it a whirl.
Yeah,
right.
Try it out and see.
So what happened? If you could go back, what would you say? The biggest things that you learned through that time to maybe pass along to others, to say like, this is some of the things I learned during that time, because I don't feel like anything's a failure. I think you learn, you live and you learn.
You definitely learn, you learn a lot about yourself first off, I wasn't really sure that I was really ready to get married.
Okay.
I think there was, I was.
Did you feel pressure then from like, because she's 10 years your senior, she's probably like, time's ticking, let's get going.
Yeah. I think a lot of that kind of factored in, in this stuff,
to the pressure.
But it's I look back, it's funny. A lot of people look back at their like first marriage and they're like, oh my God, it's like, this, that, and the other. I don't actually really look back at it and have like really think it was bad because, in the end result was I have my daughter, you know what I mean?
Right.
From that marriage. So, that's awesome.
Right.
So
it's incredible.
And she's a great kid and, so that's awesome. So it's hard to really look back at it and think it was all bad. You know what I mean? So, So is and so it's you learn some stuff. You try you're like you learn a lot about yourself, like things that you're good at, things that you're not good at. It's
Now, would you say like what would you say the biggest like looking back, what would you say like the biggest cause? Was it like, do you feel like it's a communication issue? Like maybe you were having a hard time talking about your feelings? Was it like
communication?
Was it like on like kind of obviously it's a two-way street, but I'm just curious as to, because these are things that aren't taught to us. Like we're not really taught, hey, this is how you make a lasting relationship work. I mean, you kind of see it from, even if your parents are still married. I don't know if that's the case for you.
No. My parents were got divorced when I was in middle school. Yeah.
So if your parents got divorced, then it's hard to say, well, I know all the tools I need to know to keep a marriage. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Like because it just doesn't happen.
No.
We just aren't. We aren't born with those lovely gifts, right?
I think for me, our problem for me is both of us were kind of, I don't say control freaks, not really the right word, but like I'm very independent. You know, I've always worked for myself. Don't really have. I mean, yes, I have bosses. I mean, every client's a boss. You know, what I mean? You gotta
in some respect. Yeah.
But in the same regard, I don't really answer to anybody. You know what I mean? So I kind of do what I want, when I want, how I want. You know what I mean? And then when you have somebody that kind of is 10 years older, explaining, you know, like wanting you to do, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
they have their own way.
Yeah, they're 10 years older, so right, you know what I mean? So, you know, that didn't work out so well, you know, and you know, in hindsight, probably both of us could have been a little more understanding, but you know, I mean, it also, I mean, I think, you know, that's the thing about marriage. You know, people always say, well, you know, if you could change and, you know, and you could change and you know, everybody could change. But I think probably you really shouldn't though. I mean, because if it's who you are, then you got to be who you are, you know? Sure. I mean, you can't really change for anybody. You really can't, you know?
No, you can't. I mean, it's like you can pretend for a while. If you're a tiger, you can pretend you can walk around as a dog for a little while, but inevitably, you know, when someone holds a piece of meat in front of you, you're going to eat. You're going to eat it. You're a tiger.
Right. You're right. You know,
but the reality is, I agree with you to some extent. But the reality is, like when you have two different people raised from two different backgrounds, inevitably you're going to have all kinds of situations where I almost got him. I almost got Mr. Miyagi. But yeah, it's just like inevitably you have to get to a point where you are coming from a point of understanding and love and compassion. As soon as you start to look at your spouse or your significant other with resentment and with like, why aren't they doing this? Why aren't they doing that for me or whatever? Things start to go south because you're not really coming from a place of love and understanding, and because that's what we do when we're dating. We're like, we want to know all about you. We want you to, tell me more about that story. Yeah. And then, you know, all of a sudden it becomes noise, and then at some point when there's no communication, all of a sudden it's like, I think you already told me that fucking story. Like, is there any way you could kind of skinny that up a little bit? I'm kind of busy. Right. You know, and then again, you can only imagine. But so, yeah, it's interesting to, you know, 10 years your senior. How long did the marriage last? Because you obviously had a daughter.
About 7 years.
7 years, okay.
Well, I will say this. It was actually, by the time we ended up finally getting divorced, we were separated for like 3 years or so. It was close to 11 years, actually. So I'm going to take credit for 10.
Oh, yeah, decade.
You know, 7 together and 3 like apart. But, you know, I'm going to count those 3 years, you know.
Might as well. You know, legally, you were bound, right?
Exactly. I mean, I want credit for that shit.
Yeah,
you know?
That's it. So did you, when you were split, did you guys at any point do the old, like, because, you know, you hear about, like, well, I'll move out, and then all of a sudden you move back, and then you move out, and then you try again, and then...
When I left...
I don't know, like, or was it, like, one of those, like, no, we're both, like, cutting this thing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And this is the part where I feel like a dick. But when I left in July, 2007, I left in July, I mean, it had been over for me for a while. Okay. It was just kind of like, you know, there was no. I mean, it was when I left. That was it. Okay. I mean, I had checked out 2, 3, 4 months before. You know,
so in terms of like intimacy and like all that,
there was none of that going back. None of that.
I gotcha. Nothing. Yeah, okay, so it was really you were roommates for a while. Yeah, platonic roommates for a little while, and then all of a sudden it was like
And the weird thing was I ended up moving over to Parkview Avenue. Had a first floor apartment over there. Yeah. The people that moved out of there bought a house 2 doors down from my ex, where I just moved out of. So I moved into their house while they moved into my neighborhood.
Okay. Okay.
2 doors down.
Swap.
It was it was pretty interesting.
So this was so if you think about 07, so this is you're you know late 40s, so you're like late 30s, that ended, and then you entered into the dating space again. Yeah. How is that as a 39, 40-year-old guy in the dating space?
You know,
Like, I don't know.
It was really interesting.
Okay.
It was very. I can't say that this is the norm.
It was pre-Tinder though.
For other people my age, I can't really say. But I mean, I met a girl. I met a girl at the gym actually, which is the weirdest thing because go to the gym, and it's just like people confuse me for one of those Bosu balls. So I mean, it's
come on, brother.
My point is, I just get a kick out of it though, because I was going to Planet Fitness and it was a relatively attractive girl there, and long story so we kind of started hanging out like right off, so my ex was a little hurt by that, so that was
because of the time frame between you landing that and starting something fresh. Okay.
And then this girl and I dated for like 5 years, and
that's a long time. Yeah,
it was. Yeah,
that's a long time.
It was a long time.
Yeah.
But I mean, that really wasn't going anywhere.
Okay.
It was just.
Yeah.
It was just
Okay.
But the dating scene, it was interesting. I mean, she was bisexual, so.
Oh wow, we could take a whole little tangent here.
Monty.
We could.
This could go a lot of different ways. We are at that juncture.
we are. So I guess interesting. I do have a couple questions about that, but with that said, I guess you're not. It's not like you're married, but I assume that with that there was the ability to maybe invite a few friends into the bedroom.
It was that relationship escalated quickly.
It did.
I did not see that coming actually.
Okay. Did she initiated this, like, hey, listen, Monty, I just want to let you know that I'd like to have some friends come over for dinner.
Yeah.
And then stick around.
It was there's some stories that I could tell you that were I'll share off camera because it was it was interesting. But it was, I'm not going to lie, it was kind of obviously it was a crazy time. Everything, everything in my life, I had a house, I have, all this,
you were
so
independent, you were self-sufficient.
Now I'm in an apartment, I'm dating this girl and, things were, I'm not going to lie, it was kind of hard to keep control of everything. You know what I mean? Keep working, what I mean? Because I do have a relatively large business, if you will. You know what I mean?
For sure. You're a busy guy with respect to the stuff you have to get done.
So, there's a lot of work, you know what I mean? And then you're kind of in this, at the same time, like in this party mode, you know what I mean? And so,
because you're basically getting off of a serious divorce. And I guess in some respect, not to dwell on it, but I'm sure that you, even though you were finished with it, you still probably reflected and said, that I'm not proud of that, or I'm not happy about it, or I don't know. Like, you probably had some level of regret, maybe. I don't know. That's a question more than a statement, but
because as like guys, like, we don't want to fail at anything,
right?
Like, nobody wants to fail at anything. You know what I mean? I mean, so I feel like that I failed at that.
You didn't go into the mirror saying, okay, so in 10 years from now, I'll be divorced, and then I'll be able to kind of date and have fun and have an apartment. I mean, those weren't part of your long-term plan initially, right?
Yeah. But I mean, I can, now that I've gotten, now that I'm older, I hate to say this too, but a lot of my friends are divorced.
Yeah.
Their kids get to be sophomore and junior in high school, and everything goes down the shitter. I hate to say that because it sounds so bad and so negative, but I mean, I could literally just sit here and just count off people left and the
stats are true. The stats, the numbers don't lie. I mean, there are like 60% or beyond that of couples that get married end in divorce. So it's not it's not an insignificant number.
Yeah.
And I guess with that, I would say my next question would be, do you feel like, because you came from a family where your mom and dad split, if you don't mind me asking, how do you feel like that? Like, can you take yourself as a kid, and did you feel anything there? Like, can you remember how that felt for you?
Well, I mean,
and then how did you get time with each parent and the complexities around that, I guess, and the emotional stuff.
My dad was never like, we don't talk.
Okay.
So we have that type of, there was a lot of, domestic violence and stuff. Him and,
he wasn't a real kind, friendly guy, basically.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, but
angry guy.
If you talk to him now, he found the good Lord Jesus Christ and all is forgiven. So
gotcha.
I don't want to say one of those people, but it's
I know what
you know
you're
what I mean.
saying.
Like he figured he has made peace with it, so everyone else should
make peace with it as well. Yeah.
So
has he actually, even though he's perhaps perceived as having made peace with that, has he ever maybe had a direct conversation with you to apologize?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Like, hey, this is what I contributed to the situation.
Because I feel like he thinks that because he's forgiven by a higher power,
that he doesn't.
There's no
need
apology
to ask.
needed.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
That's okay.
Yep.
It's I'm like I said, 48 years old. It's fine.
Yeah.
But
I gotcha.
back to I think your original question. Not really having a father figure.
Yeah.
Or when I had one there. I always say, I never really had somebody there to teach me a lot of that stuff.
Right.
But in a way, he kind of did, because basically I've just tried to do everything the opposite of what he. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do understand what you're saying.
And so yeah.
So typically, I feel like, and I don't know if this is true or not, but my feeling on the matter is that when you come from an environment like that, and maybe you don't have the best of mentors, if you will, you learn. Sometimes you either can repeat that cycle of violence or the cycle of abuse, and typically we all know that your father unfortunately didn't know how to do anything better, because guess what?
Yeah.
He was a victim of.
Yeah.
Guess what his father did, right? So that's how you propagate things moving forward, but. Maybe that's not true.
No,
I'm just saying
I don't think that's true.
Okay.
There, I just think he just was, angry alcoholic and
gotcha.
He was just
But yeah, I think for you to say I'm gonna intentionally do things. I know how that made me feel, and I'm gonna intentionally do the opposite of that. Forward.
I mean, I mean, I learned. It's funny. I learned at a young age that I was. Pretty independent. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? My mom worked very hard, and I had very little, supervision. You know what I mean? So like I turned out, that I turned out. But I learned at kind of a young age that anything you want in life, you have to work for. And nobody's going to give you anything. I mean, my parents were poor.
Right.
We lived in some shitty houses, and that's fine. I don't have a problem sharing that story.
That's part of who you are.
Right.
I mean,
because it made me, I look at the houses that I grew up in as a kid, and I probably lived 8 to 9 different places in Old Town.
Wow.
I lived a lot of places. We moved around a lot.
Yeah.
One of the things, I was always proud of is, when I got married, I had a really nice house, and my daughter grew up in a nice house, way nicer house than I ever had as a kid.
Right.
And that makes me feel proud.
Of course it does.
To have your kid grow up having a lot of things that you never did.
Right.
And you worry about spoiling your kid, right?
You do.
I mean,
do.
But I think we did, and I still do, but I think she's very appreciative of it and doesn't expect it.
Right. I think that's
do you know what I'm saying? I mean, I think she appreciates,
what she has.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And she's not, expecting.
But it is,
dad,
I think, as a
I think
guy,
she knows dad will get her whatever she wants,
Yeah, but she has a sense of appreciation for that. Yeah. Now, do you feel like, because you hear this a lot too, is that when you have a situation where there's a divorce, then what happens is each of the parents are like, they try to like overly almost compensate for the fact that there's a divorce, so that they may be, I don't know if that's a true thing or not, but it seems like,
I mean, I don't. Yeah, no. I mean,
not for you, not in your situation.
I don't. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think she. I try to,
just take care of her.
Yeah. I don't think we try to do anything.
Over the top.
Over the top. Although. Although we did for her graduation, high school graduation last year, we took her to Denmark. And when I say we, I mean the only way she was going to Denmark with me was if my ex-wife went.
Oh, no way.
So
was that a stipulation from her?
Yeah, my daughter. Okay. Yeah. She wanted us both to go.
Okay. Yeah. That's a big ask. That's interesting. Like,
I don't think
I want you and mom to come.
Yeah, I don't think
Wow.
I don't think she just gets it that mom and dad just, that's tough.
That's a tough conversation for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we did it. We did it. It was a rough trip.
Was it?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, there was some
just like there
was some situations that were just rough.
Okay.
Just
it's emotional.
A lot of things. You know what I mean? It was it
brings
just,
up stuff that you'd maybe
not that. I mean, it brings more of the control stuff. You know what I mean? Somebody's trying to control.
We're going here. This is what we're doing. This
and it just it was tough.
Gotcha.
But we did it, Yeah. A kid went overseas and
it's an amazing trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And cool. So it was cool. Yeah. She got to see she saw Slash from Guns N' Roses at the US Embassy.
Oh, nice.
She was in there doing some stuff and he happened to walk in and
nice.
So she got to see him.
That's cool.
So that was kind of cool. She didn't know his name,
That's a character that would be hard not to recognize, right? Slash, you can see his face, right?
She knew he was somebody. Of course, when you're in the embassy, you can't have your phone.
Okay.
I happened to be outside because I didn't go in with them, but I saw him. So she come out, she's like that guy, and she's trying
something.
She's trying to explain. I'm just like, I saw him.
So the one thing I wanted to ask you a little bit about is entrepreneurship. So you basically started this thing. You've been successful. If you look at that and you say, where do you feel like you get the drive? Obviously, it sounds like a lot of it comes. This is just again me. Inferring some things from what you've shared with me, but because you were raised in Old Town and maybe didn't have a lot of finances at the time, your parents you got by and you did, but your business is successful, it's profitable. You've probably got more work than you really can take on, really. So tell me about the drive for you. What causes you to want to have that financial stability? It's got to be something behind the scenes there. It forces you to do the. I just
really like what I do.
Okay.
I mean, I'm fortunate enough to make money at a profession that's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, you're constantly hustling. I mean, always. I mean, and. But I mean, I don't know. I just like I love what I do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, going to the games. Trying to. For me,
capture unique moments.
I'm extremely competitive. I mean, I am. A lot of people don't really see that side of me.
Yeah.
But I am. I'm super competitive. I mean, if I go to a game and there's 3 other photographers there or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're like, I'm getting the hot shot.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Like, what I was shooting me.
Yeah, okay. Because I mean, I see you as a pretty laid back guy. I don't see But again, if but from a photography perspective, you want to have the best.
I don't care what I'm shooting. I mean, Mamma Mia at the Cross Center. Right. I mean, it's just like I'm.
But so the shots that you get. I mean, what do you like with this transition? Honestly, like with the concert series and like you are having more opportunities to get unique positions.
Yep.
Hence unique shots, right? If you're getting access to places and some of the pics that you have been taking and some of the artists that are taking your pics and using them because they're pumped that they're getting these wonderful pics of themselves on stage. Tell me about that. Like,
well, I mean, the concerts are great. The concerts are fun. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I get goosebumps right now just thinking about it. But when you're sitting there, photographing a band that you like their music and you can get into their music,
I
mean, it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't describe the feeling when you're watching an artist up there, doing their thing, just fucking rocking it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just crank, and you're there, and you're capturing these moments. You know what I mean?
In their natural environment.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's cool. I mean, I got goosebumps right now just thinking about it. I mean, it's cool. It is that much fun. I mean, and it's not just taking photos, but it's just trying to find good angles and and things and trying to create some cool photos, but it's even cooler when you're into the music.
That's true.
I photographed Kiss a couple of years ago down in Portland, and probably by far the best concert I ever photographed. Because not only that, I mean, they're famous. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean,
but they're like consummate professionals.
Yes, they're legit. Probably the best band I've ever photographed. I don't care if it's some of these up and coming bands,
right,
and bands that were big that are still touring. Kiss, it was just, I remember it was the beginning of like Detroit Rock City. They have this big Kiss banner up, you know what I mean? And you're standing off to the side, and I was there with my buddy Chris, and we went down and Chris got to do a meet and greet with him because it was a birthday gift. So we got to shoot the show, but somebody got him a meet and greet, so we got to go back and meet him and stuff like that. And it was pretty cool.
It is.
But I remember we're off to the side of the stage, they got the big Kiss banner up, and you hear that Detroit Rock, the little, and you're just like, oh my God. The fire, and they drop the banner, and then like basically you can rush to the front of the stage.
Combining the first band, combined music with entertainment, right? And they combined it, and they mastered it.
And they're, the show was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got pictures of Paul Stanley, sitting on the edge of the stage, here to your coffee cup, just looking at me, pointing at, look like touching my camera. I mean, he was pointing, cool. These incredible photos, I mean, and it was awesome. Yeah. It was probably one of the better shows that I photographed, mostly because they play to the cameras. Most of the artists now, they're, okay, you got 3 songs, and we had 3 songs with them, but they don't look at you. They don't, they don't play to the camera.
Doing your thing, and
these guys don't need publicity. These guys don't need. He doesn't need to sit on the edge of the stage and play to my camera. I mean, he doesn't.
Kiss.
Yeah, right. I mean, he doesn't need to do that. You know what I mean? But that's how they are. I mean, they realize that people still love them. Yeah. People still want to photograph them. They're still into their music. And they want to. They want to get some cool pics out there, right? So
it's funny.
So I helped them.
One of the things I was thinking is that, like, when you're like, so photography is so interesting in that you're capturing these moments in time, right? It's just, it's like this slice of time that's paused, right?
Yeah.
And in the end, when we are no longer around, right?
Yeah.
Which is going to happen to every one of us.
Yeah. Sucks.
And I've been to a couple of these. I've been to a couple of funerals, and specifically, I remember my mom's. But you just think, and you're like, your life is just a streaming set of pictures that goes by, and and to capture some really, really unique moments, it brings you back to the memory and the feelings that were there at that time. Like for you, when you look at that picture of Paul Stanley looking at you, you get, all of a sudden your body fills with the emotions from that specific time. And that's pretty cool.
It is cool.
That's neat.
I mean, and I've got a lot of photos.
You do.
I mean, it's funny. I mean, it's occasionally people will ask me to look up stuff, and I'll go, I'll be looking for something, but I'll see all these other photos, and then I'll just start clicking through them, and I'm just like, it's like
memory.
It's crazy.
Well, listen, people that want to hire you, get in touch with you. It's MontyRandPhotography.com.
Yep.
Is that right?
Or MontyRand.com.
Or MontyRand.com. You gotta. I mean, you're booked out, so good luck hiring Monty.
I take most of July. You better bring your
checkbook. So, bring your checkbook.
Yeah. Well, don't call me in July. I'm taking July off.
There you go. Well, listen, I appreciate if there's anything. We covered a lot of shit today, man. I appreciate you coming in.
I feel like we could just keep talking for like another couple hours.
Listen, it's true. We could.
We didn't even get into the drone stuff.
That's true. That's true. But what I'll do is I'm going to put a link for your website under the thing. And thanks for supporting and coming and chatting with me today. It's Sunday. I know it's hard to get out, from
it's all right.
daily duties on a Sunday. But
actually, I've been working since 5, man.
Have you?
Steady grind, it's just, got to get stuff done.
Yeah. Well, listen, I appreciate it. And that would be a wrap. So for those that are listening, again, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's important that you get that subscription clicked on, and so that you will get updated as to when we release new episodes. And again, thanks for watching and listening
some better looking
to the
people
Phil
in
Henry
the pipeline to come on here.
It's a radio show.
That's right,
Think of Howard Stern. Howard Stern.
Right. You still got cameras too.
All right, signing off. Take care. Thanks.